Good morning and welcome to another Gribley's Folly Sunday Antisocial Hour. That time each week when I smoke my pipe and complain about humanity while also answering its questions. And this week is a very special week because it's the last Sunday Antisocial Hour of 2018. How do you feel about it? You ready for the year to be gone? Are you bittersweet? Are you sad? I don't know. I don't really feel much about it. I'm ready to start the new year though. I've got a lot of plans for the new year. And I want to get those going. I'm tired of waiting. I'm tired of planning. I just want to do stuff. You know what I mean? So I'm smoking my Stanwell Admiral. Hang on, let me actually drink my coffee instead of just holding it while I talk. This, by the way, I mentioned this in the last video. This is Gribs with enough sleep, right? This is how I would actually act if if I were able to get enough sleep at night. So I'm smoking my Stanwell Admiral. Shape 115, I believe. This is the sexiest pipe I own. And I was actually thinking, no, Shape 53. What's the other one? 150? Maybe that's the Colonial? Anyway, in it, I'm smoking Northwoods. This is the only pipe that I ever purchased new at full retail. I have purchased other pipes new, but they were blemished, something like that, you know, a basket pipe. This is the only like name brand pipe I've ever bought new. That's it. It was 115 bucks. That's why I had that number in my head. And I bought it for myself at the end of, probably at the beginning of, in the middle of 2014. In fact, I remember the day. Does anybody else feel like we're missing something? Oh yeah, the intro. I bought this pipe for myself when I learned that my wife was pregnant. And I was hanging out quite a bit in the pipe shop at the time, and I had my eye on this pipe because, I mean, look at it. Who wouldn't have their eye on this pipe? It's just so awesome. And it's light, it's small, it's a perfect billiard shape. I really like the billiard shape in a briar pipe. Anyway. And so I just had a little piece of work that I wasn't expecting. It wasn't anything major, but I had a little extra money, and my wife was pregnant. And I thought, you know, I'm going to buy myself something to commemorate this time. And if you're a pipe smoker and a man, and you learn that you're going to be a father, I wholeheartedly recommend buying yourself a new pipe to commemorate the occasion, because that's going to be the last time that you ever buy yourself anything ever. And speaking of that, how was Christmas? My Christmas was a Christmas. Thank you for asking. And it was fine. It was good. There were no disasters. That's what I ask of Christmas at this point in my life. You know, you used to, like, when you're a young adult, you're like, oh, I want to recapture the spirit of Christmas that I felt as a kid, you know? And then when you get to your late 30s, you're just like, as long as I don't wreck my car on Christmas Day, I'll be okay, you know? And so I did not wreck my car. My genetics, my family, we have a thing, right? The Gribs of old, the ancient Gribs, I don't know if they angered a spirit or something like that, but we have a curse that we always have car trouble around Christmas. This year, I went ahead and took my car in late October and spent like $2,000 on it. So I did not have car trouble at Christmas, but I'm not sure if that might have been a Pyrrhic victory. I don't know. Anyway, we'll keep this going. Northwoods is a tobacco worth pausing for. It's awesome. Okay, so Christmas was good. I asked for very little. You know, my mom is always like, give me a list, and then she gets me, and I was like, look, I don't want anything. I got everything I need. Don't give me anything. So she didn't, and now I'm sad. Yeah, no, I got, no one else, my wife and my mom are the only two people that ever give me anything, and that's how I like it, right? You don't need gifts from, I'm an adult, I can buy my own shit, you know? But it's very nice each year. My wife always gives me a knife, because I always want a knife, and my mom usually gives me a bottle of booze and a pack of Skittles. And she gave me a mini bottle of booze, which I drank in like, 30 seconds after I opened the package. But no Skittles. And I've been waiting all damn year for those Skittles. because I don't allow myself to buy. So I don't know. Christmas was it was lacking. It was lacking. You know, it just wasn't the same without those Skittles. And it's probably good that I didn't get a bottle of booze, because then I would just drink it. And I learned from my videos when I was drinking out in the woods, the noggin doesn't appreciate alcohol at all anymore. It's very sad. So something else. Yeah, if you're a pipe smoker out there and you learn you're about to be a father, the other thing is get drunk now, because that's never going to happen again. Okay, enough rambling. Let's get to your questions, shall we? Typing Piper asked, dude, is your internet connection from 1866? It's kind of been a thing lately, yeah. We had an outage during the snowstorm, and they came in and they blamed it on us, and I said, by the way, our internet's really slow, and they blamed that on us too. And I just saw that in, I think in New York State, actually, the same company is being sued for advertising fraudulent internet speeds. So that's going to be fun. It's been a while since I've been in a good lawsuit, you know? Codger Jim asked Gribbs why the South Carolina flag in the background. Good luck with the Outlaws at Christmas. You know, the in-laws were fine at Christmas. They were just fine. Yeah, so I was born in South Carolina. I was raised until my adolescence in South Carolina. My childhood was spent in South Carolina. Lots of deep roots in South Carolina. So that's why the South Carolina flag, even though objectively at this point in my life I have to kind of admit that North Carolina is a better state because we have trout, I still consider myself a South Carolinian. But the North Carolina flag is just ugly too. You know, like, that's a cool flag. The North Carolina flag, not so much. Let's get to the questions that really matter, right? Derek Tant. The Sunday Antisocial is a classic, required viewing. Thank you, sir. It means a lot coming from the mayor. However, I have not conceded nor lost the pastry war. How dare you declare victory? I am not a Pop-Tart. And this is where I perhaps should have explained this a little bit better. Derek Tant became a Pop-Tart this year because I'm a level 50 shaman and I turned him into a Pop-Tart. But we all know that, but Derek doesn't, because I also gave him amnesia, right? So you got to take some pity on him, right? We'll just let you pretend that you haven't conceded, Derek. Okay, if someone says across the pond when referring to the Atlantic Ocean, I write them off as a human being, says Kid Electrolux. They should be cast adrift on the Atlantic Ocean until they scream, okay, it's not a pond. Ask Gribbs, what does this say about both me and them? I think you might need to relax a little bit, Kid Electrolux. I mean, you know, it bothers me too. It bothers me too, only because it's a cliche, right? And it might have been a funny cliche back in the 1700s when someone first said that. But now it's yeah, I don't like it. On the other hand, it's such a cliche that saying it almost, it's like it's gone to that other level of cliche where it is kind of coming back into humor. I don't know. Whoa, look at the distortion of my hand on the edge of the screen there. That's creepy. Okay. I think that it says about someone, if they say that they have never single-handedly sailed across the Atlantic Ocean. And I think it says about you that maybe you should go single-handedly sail across the Atlantic Ocean, and then you would hang on to the bigger picture a little bit tighter. Beard asked Gribbs, can you be certain you caught 332 fish? You might have been recatching the same fish multiple times. That is true, Beard. In fact, I know that I recaught the same fish multiple times, actually. So I made 332 successful catches. I don't know if it was probably like 320 some odd fish, to be honest with you. There was one day I was fishing a freshly stocked piece of water for cheap thrills, and I caught a fish on a zebra midge, and I can't remember why. I think he broke it off. Yeah, he broke it off. The fish broke it off, went back in the water. 10 minutes later, I caught the fish with my zebra midge in his mouth, and I took both my flies back. Thank you very much. So yeah, it definitely happens, but usually that happens when the waters are freshly stocked and the fish are hungry and have poor judgment. John Galdieri asked Gribbs, Have you found that fishing is better during certain times of the lunar calendar? I've never, I hear people talk about that. And that was not why I wanted to learn the phases of the moon, because I go fishing when I have time to fish. I don't have the luxury of planning my fishing trips around phases of the moon. But I could go back and see if there's any rhyme or reason to when I had my best days. But I've come to believe that you have your best days when the fish want you to have your best days. That it all comes down to what the fish want. Like what do they want? Fireplug 1701D is talking about my 365-day Instagram challenge. Go over to Instagram right now and subscribe to @Gribley's Folly to see a new photo every day of 2019. Photos that I have taken on my adventures out in the woods, and then some really cerebral writing about it, maybe. And there's more at Gribley'sFolly.com if you want to go check that out. Might be a sneak preview up there right now. When is this going to air? This is going to air on the 30th. So yeah, that's not too much of a sneak preview. But yeah, so photos start dropping on the 1st. Fireplug says, with your trail cam photos, this should be an easy challenge. Well, it's funny you should say that. I am actually getting ready to go place 3 trail cams in the woods. But the thing is with trail cams, the keeper rate is like 1 or 2%, right? You get a ton of photos, and they're mostly of like the same squirrel eating the same acorn for like an hour, sitting in front of the trail cam. So the photos that maybe I should have mentioned this. I felt like it was implied, but these actually have to be good photos. That's one of the differences between a regular 365 photo project and mine. My photos are going to be like curated. They're going to be photos that I've thrown away the crap. These are the good photos that I shot, and that's why I'm not shooting a new one every day. I could shoot a new photo every day, but it wouldn't be good. It wouldn't be as much fun to look at, and so then that's just asking my viewer to come along on a boring trip, And so I wanted to make I wanted to make a nice body of work. James Brown, love the name by the way. I feel like James Brown when I'm like hiking a lot. I'm like, ow, yeah. It's all right. It's a bad joke. I'm gonna have to pause just to get away from that joke. Can we hit it and quit? James Brown says, now you're gonna force me to subscribe to Instagram, which I currently don't. No, you don't have to do that. You can bookmark the page and not have to get an Instagram account. I would never force someone to get into the social media stuff. Derek Tant says, hearing that I am right just never gets old. I'm not sure I recall exactly when I said you were right. But ask Gribbs, how was your Christmas? What is your favorite Christmas holiday? What is your favorite holiday food? And you have to answer something besides the brown sugar pop. Is there food besides brown sugar Pop-Tarts? I just said that my Christmas was good and that I only ever get gifts from my wife and my mom, which is how I like it. I also only ever give gifts to my wife and my mom. And I feel weird sitting in like my in-laws' Christmas cabin receiving gifts from all of them. And granted, their gifts were toned down this year, I think, because they've learned after several years that I don't give gifts. And the reason I don't sometimes I will give to charity. I can't this year because I'm broke. But sometimes I will give to charity in the name of my in-laws' family. I often do that for my siblings. I say, hey, look, I'm just going to give some money, usually to a pancreatic cancer charity or hospice, because that's how my dad died. And so that's something we all have in common. But this year I still haven't done that, and I need to do that. But I guess what I'm trying to say is the gifts are embarrassing. I think that if my in-laws were to ever see this video, they would actually probably agree with me that when we're sitting in the Christmas cabin and we literally can't walk for the amount of gifts, that's not right. It's just not right. And I wish that that we didn't all feel the social pressure to do that. It's fun to get gifts. It's fun to give gifts. I'm not saying that, but man, it's just too many gifts. And I'm thinking there's hundreds and thousands of dollars being spent on this time, and we could just give that money to people that really need it and spend time together. Which is what I tried to do this year. And of course, I don't have a lot of money to give, but I did sell a tooth. And Curmudgeon Piper's charity is funded. And there's a package on the way to him, although I need to talk to him about that. But so Christmas was good. I wrestle with it, you know. I want to actually, you know, the whole, like, don't give me the remember the reason for the season crap, and then like go into debt to buy stuff people stuff they don't need. So what is your favorite holiday food? That's a tough one. But I think I found it. It would be nice to say like Christmas stollen or English trifle or something like that, something fancy. But the unlikeliest food came from the unlikeliest source. My niece's boyfriend, who I just met at Christmas for the first time, made these things that are Ritz crackers, right, with real peanut butter in between them, and then peppermint, like hard peppermint, like peppermint brittle material. You know what peppermint brittle is? It's like peanut brittle, but it's... Anyway, that stuff is like dripped over them so that it encases the Ritz crackers with peanut butter. And it was freaking delicious. Like, I could eat those all day and throw up and keep eating them. Cobbett of the Shire asks Gribbs, have you tried sea fishing? I have not, because the last time I was at the sea, I did not have a fishing license. And I don't think that thought didn't cross my mind. But I want to play by the rules with that. And I don't have any desire to go back to spin fishing. And it's nothing, I don't want to get into, you know, superiority or anything like that. But I want to tie my own flies. So unless I can cast them with a spinning rod, I'm not interested. Hang on. Still dealing with that cold. So basically, the last time I was at any place close to the sea, I was in a little estuary on a boardwalk, and I was thinking, man, I bet if I had a woolly bugger right now, I could pull in something cool. But yeah, I would love to get into it as long as I can make the lures myself, flies or not, whatever you want to call them. And I haven't found an opportunity to do that. But I think that might be coming up, actually. We might see that in 2019. Beerbeard asks Gribbs, would you ever dress up as Santa and maybe shake your belly like a bowl full of jelly? I'll answer your question with a question. Who would want to see that? Just some dude asks Gribbs, which is better, chocolate or caramel fondue? And this is the kind of burning question that you might have, keeping you up at night. And so if you have one of these questions, don't forget, hashtag AskGribbs in the comments below, and I will answer it. No matter what, you can expect an answer. Unless YouTube eats the comments. Les Brady, I'm sorry, I don't know what's going on there. YouTube does not want us to connect on that issue. I did watch your video when you originally posted it, but then it was like weeks went by and I can't remember it. So I have a toddler, or well, he's 4 now, but you know what I'm saying. My brain isn't what it used to be. So yeah, we gotta figure that out, because I want to see your VR. Caramel fondue is better than chocolate. Chocolate is too rich. Caramel, you know, it's not. It doesn't have the overpowering chocolate fondue richness going on. So yeah, I like caramel. I went on a date with a girl one time. I know that's kind of shocking. But we went to the Melting Pot. Is that still a thing? It was a thing back in the late 90s. And I was all set to like dip all my food in caramel fondue. And then it was like healthy fondue. It was like cheese or something. Yogurt fondue. I don't know what it was. Mushroom soup fondue. I was so disappointed. Ask Gribbs from Bob Lee, is fly tying a vessel for better fly fishing, Or is fly fishing just an excuse to tie more flies? That's a good question. I'm at this point in my fishing career, I'm kind of thinking that fly fishing is just an excuse to tie more flies. Case in point, when I have a bad day, I now say, well, at least I lost a bunch of flies, so I can have fun tying more flies. And then I'm like, wait a minute, what am I really doing on here? Like, what's going on? Oh, somebody was going to send me some flies, and I haven't heard anything back. But yeah, I have so many flies, and I'm going to do a video about my flies soon. But yeah, I mean, I think that the fish don't care nearly as much as we think they do about the quality or the variety of flies that we throw. Ask Gribbs from Typing Piper. Vaping equals douchebag. It's a fact. No debate on this needed. Typing Piper, that's not a question. I mean, what do you want me to say? I would love to disagree, right? That all human beings have an inherent dignity that should be respected. But yeah, you're right. You're right. All human beings except for vapors. All right. Fireplug. Last minute gift buying. Did you manage to get this done without going to big box retail? Yes. Yes, I did. You know why? Because my mom likes things from the grocery store, and I actually planned for my wife's gifts way ahead of time. That's not true. Like 3 days ahead of time. I was on top of it this year. My mom really enjoys. Again, she's got everything she needs. She lives in a big house up in the mountains. She needs consumables, which is basically what I asked for Christmas. I'm like, give me a consumable, give me a knife, because I'm going to lose it anyway. I'll need another one next year, right? Give me coffee, give me tobacco, give me whiskey, that kind of stuff that I'm going to use up, not items that I'm going to keep. Anyway, my mom's gift every year is wine and birdseed, because she loves to drink wine and she loves to watch the birds while she's drunk. And so, and so every year I get my mom wine and birdseed, and you can get that at the grocery store and Tractor Supply. And I did get her. I got her some readiness gear. Every year I also get my mom some kind of, she lives in a big house up on top of a mountain. She needs to be prepared for things. And so I get her stuff that I know she's not going to buy for herself. This year it was a nice alcohol stove so that she can make her coffee in the morning after the apocalypse, and then immediately start drinking wine and watching the birds. And if that seems like a paltry gift, it kind of is, but I'd like to get her wine and birdseed in amounts that she can't lift herself. That's like, at least there's that. You're set till April or whatever, at least with the birdseed. With the wine, it's like, you're set till like January 15th or something. Wow, we've got a little bit of time. Let me guys ask you, maybe I should just set my alarm at 3 a.m. and stay up for like an hour in the middle of the night so that I could actually talk. I just get so excited. Okay, let me ask you guys. Here's what I'm thinking, right? I think I'm always going to need to have either Northwoods or Old Limey Bastard open. Like, I'm always going to need to have a bowl of that. If I want to reach for it, it's got to be there. But I think other than that, I'm going to start asking you guys, like, I was going to say, give me recommendations of what to buy, but I opened up my cellar and I have more tobacco than anyone really needs. Unfortunately, some of it is like all the same. Like, there's like a pound of Old Limey Bastard, a pound of Stockabee's Luxury Bullseye Flake. Somebody was telling me about that, and I was like, yeah, I got that covered. There's a bunch of Old Dark Fired, and then there's like 1,000 tins of Dark Strong Kentucky. But there's a bunch of other stuff, right? And I'm kind of committed to smoking through a whole tin before I open something else. And I want to try new stuff this year too, but what I might do in these Sunday anti-socials, after I smoke through a little more of this Northwoods, maybe next week, I'm gonna ask you guys. I'm gonna say, which tin should I open for the next little while? Because I like I said in my last video, I am in a rut. I need more tobacco experience. By the way, old Greg, if you're watching, I retried Jackknife Plug, and it was just as heinous as it was the first time, but it was still wet, and so I've let that stuff dry out overnight, actually. And I'm going to try that again soon after I eat a 5-course meal so that I don't throw up all over the place. On that note, I think that's it for this week. I hope you had a great Christmas if that's your thing. I hope you're like super stoked to get all wasty face on New Year's, and you stay up till 4 in the morning. Just don't drive drunk, or if you do, make sure you die when you wreck. That's the only thing. Don't if you're driving drunk, don't survive that, right? Because then I'm mad at you. And if you die, then at least I have a little. Why did I have it was a perfectly fine outro. It was perfectly fine. Why did we? Don't drive drunk. Pisses me off. Keep the ends out for the ties that bind.